A Utah family once again facing the man convicted of killing their 13-year-old son, this time at a parole hearing. In 2023, Mason Ohms pled guilty to criminal homicide after he killed Eli Mitchell in a DUI hit and run in 2022. The family of Eli wants him to stay behind bars, and lawmakers are pushing for changes to state law.
Photos of Eli Mitchell still fill his grandparents' home. They are reminders of a life cut short.
It's like pulling the scab off an old wound. It starts all over again.
In April of 2022, Eli was walking his bike in this crosswalk when he was hit by repeat drunk driver Mason Ohms, who drove away, a decision that still haunts Eli's family to this day.
Do you ask yourself and wonder often, would Eli still be here had he stopped?
Eli's dad asked that question weekly.
Ohms also put Eli's bike in a nearby dumpster. And tomorrow, not even 4 years into his prison sentence, Ohms is getting a shot at parole.
How shocking was this for the family?
I don't know that I can think of good words to describe that.
As the family prepares to plead to the parole commissioners to deny his release, Glendon and other victims' advocates are urging lawmakers to back a new law that aims to close a dangerous DUI loophole.
The hit and run just passed the House 66-0 with no nay votes.
Art Brown is a former president of Moms Against Drunk Driving here in Utah who also lost his grandson to a drunk driver. He says the proposed bill would increase penalties for repeat offenders and DUI drivers who flee the scene.
We want people to stop and render aid to those people.
Utah's Board of Pardons and Parole renamed its victim notification letter in honor of the 13-year-old.
Halloween was traumatic for our family because that was one of my grandson's favorite holidays, so that was just another trigger.
A family forever grieving a life taken too soon.
We call it the deep dark hole. After you finish court, there historically hasn't been much, if any, communication for a long period of time, so victims are somewhat left in the dark.
Glendon Mitchell knows what it's like to be left in the dark after navigating victim services when his grandson, Eli Mitchell, was killed by a drunk driver. Ever since, he's been pushing for change.
But it brings back a gap that we experienced as a family after court, and we're thrilled that others maybe won't experience the same as we did.
The overhaul began earlier this year when the Utah Board of Pardons and Parole launched a new victim notification system. It informs victims of crimes when an offender is up for parole. The new Eli Mitchell letter is the first point of contact for victims and the board.
It was a pleasant surprise that they wanted to name that after my grandson Eli. It's a tribute to him. Eli was a champion for underdogs.
Lawmakers like Steve Elison praise the efforts of Mitchell and this letter.
This is a nice way to remember Eli and hopefully promote that drinking and driving is never acceptable.
There's good people with good hearts who want to do more.
Today, Eli's family is pleading with the state parole board to keep Mason Ohms behind bars, saying their life sentence did not end when his prison term began. Mason says he spent the last 40 months recovering from his addiction.
I've spent the last 40 months in treatment, is what I call it. I did a treatment program while I was in county jail upon my own. Wasn't forced into that one or anything. And that was where I wanted to start. I wanted to start with, I needed to get rid of the addiction completely. I knew I could go periods of time without drinking, but I wanted to quit. The fact that I took someone's life was enough. That right there, let alone, but I needed to reassure myself and others around me that nothing would ever come about, that I would never touch alcohol again.
My name is Lisa Taylor Mitchell, and I am Eli's mother.
What would you like the board to say?
First, I wanted to share a message to Eli. Sweet Eli, I need to write an impact statement for Mason Ohms' parole hearing. Eli, I'm hoping you can help me and help the Board of Pardons and Parole to make the right decision. I am hoping that now, where you are, you have a bigger picture and a better perspective than I do. I'm not sure what to say in my statement, but I do know I have a few things I want to say to you. I miss you so much. I miss you every minute of every day. We are doing everything we can to honor you and to make sure other people won't lose their children. I love you, Eli. Till we meet again. This is my impact statement. I am Eli's mom. I've been asked to write an impact statement. It seems impossible to put into words the impact of losing my 13-year-old son, Eli Taylor Mitchell. But I will try. Close your eyes. Imagine your child of 13, full of life, hope, and energy. Your sweet, hardworking child has been asking for a debit card to spend the money they earned. One day they come home from school. You're excited to hand them the card. With a big smile, they say, "Thanks, Mom. I'm going to go use my new debit card right now." You suggest waiting until after your daughter's soccer game, but you see the excitement in their eyes. "I'm going to ride my bike to the store and I'm going to buy something." You know your child. He's independent, he's driven, he makes things happen. Helmet on, smile on his face. He hops on his bike and heads to the grocery store, passing the convenience store because he knows his money will go farther. Your youngest child, your only son, rides off with his new debit card in hand. You take your daughter to her soccer game. While watching, texts start coming in. Something happened on 90th South. Take the back roads. So you do. It's dinner time. You make scrambled eggs. You call down to your son. No answer. You call his phone. No answer. You text the neighbors. Has anyone seen Eli? Still no answer. You don't know your life has already changed forever. He made it to the store. He swiped his card for the first time. He bought his favorite treats, Kit Kats and Hostess donuts. He left the store, helmet on, riding sidewalks to be safe. He was halfway home. At the corner of 90th South and 1520 West, he stopped, checked for safety, had the right of way. It was safe to cross, so he did. Little does he know that a man has been sitting in a bar for 6 hours, drinking in the middle of the day. It's around 6 p.m. That man left the bar less than a minute before Eli reached the intersection. They arrived at the corner about the same time. For reasons you can't understand, this man, rather than yielding to Eli, a young pedestrian with the right of way, hits the gas. His huge, heavy truck strikes Eli. And instead of stopping to help, as any person of sound mind would, he accelerates. The truck crushes your child, crushes his chest, crushes his organs. Your 13-year-old son lies broken in the road, and the man responsible drives on. You're not there, for which you are grateful, because you know, had you witnessed it, you would not survive. You could not have survived the memory of your sweet son's face, his little heart, crushed by a man who spent 6 hours drinking at a bar. That was only the first in a series of terrible decisions. After hitting and crushing your child, he drove on. He kept driving, dragging Eli's bike, treat still hanging from the handlebar, the bike wedged under his truck. He continued until he finally stopped. He removed the bike, tossed it aside, and drove away. You don't know what he did in the hours that followed. Eventually, he reached his home. When he arrived, the police were waiting for a man so drunk, so far beyond the legal limit, who still chose to take his keys, get in his truck, and kill your son. In the days and weeks that follow, you learn many things. But you think the thing you learn that destroys you the most is that this man has had 5 DUIs prior to this one. And yet he is still on the roads. He is driving. How can this be? You've wondered that for 4 years. How can someone with 6 DUIs be permitted to drive? It is impossible to truly express how this has and will continue to impact me as his mother. I gave him life. I raised him. I woke with him in the night. I walked him to kindergarten. I helped with his homework. I snuggled him when he couldn't sleep. I watched him grow and learn and become, but I will never know who he would become past the age of 13. Mason Ohms took that from me. He stole years, decades, a lifetime of watching Eli grow. I know it may be impossible for you to imagine the impact. It's impossible even for me to put it into words, but I ask you to try. Imagine Eli's face as your child's. Imagine your own child at 13. All you hope for them. All you look forward to. Now imagine all of that ending in one moment because of someone else's choices. I lost Eli because of this man's repeated choices. I live every day with the consequences of what he did, while he has served only 4 years for taking Eli's life. I cannot bear the thought of another mother standing where I stand, grieving a child because Mason Ohms was given yet another chance to make the same choices he has made again and again. His history shows a pattern that cannot be ignored. For the safety of every child, every family, and every mother who sends her child into the world, trusting that they will come home, I'm asking you to keep him in prison for longer than 4 years. And then I want to share, this is portions of an impact statement that was written by my daughter, who is Eli's only sister. Her name is Emma. On April 26, 2022, my life was forever changed. My name is Emma Mitchell, and today I would like to tell my story. After coming home from my soccer game, I heard crying upstairs. When I ran upstairs, the news of Eli's death was told to me by a police officer. The officer proceeded to tell me that the man who ran over Eli removed his bike from underneath his truck and then fled the scene. In that moment, I ran outside, wondering how someone could leave my sweet little brother in the road to die after he ran him over. Eli was my best friend, the one person I could always count on to make me laugh and feel comforted when I was sad, and suddenly my future without him flashed before my eyes. I felt the most gut-wrenching sense of anguish, a burning sense of anger towards the man who took his life, but most of all, I felt the need to take my own life. Now, almost 4 years after Eli's life was taken, those feelings I had right after Eli's death have evolved. I mourn the future I should have had with Eli. I feel alone so often and wonder how different my life would be if he was still here. Instead of anger towards Mason, I feel confused. Confused as to why he chose to drink and drive that day. Confused as to why he fled the scene, knowing that he had run Eli over. Now, instead of wishing to take my own life, I wander through it, feeling a constant deep hole inside of me. That feeling of longing to see Eli again will forever be with me. This is still Emma. It's not my job to decide whether Mason stays in prison. All I can do is speak to justice. Justice for the loss my family and I will carry forever because of his choices. Justice for the bright future taken from Eli. Justice for the life I'd hoped to share with him. I hope one day Mason finds healing from his addiction and never drives drunk again. But today, it's up to you to decide what happens next. I know your job is not easy. Thank you for allowing me to share my story. I hope it helps guide your decision. Emma Mitchell, Eli's sister. Thank you.
My name is Jeremy Mitchell. I'm the father of Eli Mitchell, my 13-year-old son, whose life was taken by the offender. Thank you again for allowing me to present this statement as you consider this deeply serious parole matter. Eli was a joyful, adventurous, hardworking boy with a bright future. He filled every room with energy and kindness. He was a kind of child who made everyone around him better. His life mattered, his future mattered, and it was taken from him violently, senselessly, and permanently. Every day I watch Eli's closest friends, they're in here, some of them, reach milestones, which I do love. learning to drive, going on dates, working their first jobs, adventuring outdoors, becoming young men. These are moments I will never share with my son. And it will only get harder. I will never see Eli graduate, serve a mission, attend college, get married, or raise a family. Excuse me. These moments were not only stolen from him, they were stolen from us. Each milestone his friends experience is a reminder of what was taken and of the choices made by the man who murdered him. The grief in our home is constant. It has reshaped our lives, our routines, our emotional well-being. My wife carries unbearable pain. Eli's sister Emma struggles with the loss and emotions every day. As a father, and I think many can relate, I would give anything to ease their suffering, but I cannot. This is our life sentence. There is no parole from it. The circumstances of Eli's death makes this tragedy even more horrific. This was the offender's 6th DUI. 6. He didn't simply make a mistake. He made a series of dangerous, reckless choices over many years. And on the day he killed my son, he made even more. He struck Eli, ran over him, and then tried to flee. He did not call for help. He did not try to save a dying child. Instead, he removed Eli's bike from under his truck to escape with a bag of candy my son had just bought still attached to the mangled bike handlebars. And I think a picture tells 1,000 words as well. So again, this was around the block because it was being dragged by the truck. And this was taken, tossed aside, but you can see the candy still on it. That picture, when I saw it from the police, was very powerful to me, just of the heinous of the crime. These details are burned into our family's memories. They reflect not an accident, but a total disregard for human life. When I hear claims that the offender has attended classes, behaved well in prison, or is now sober, I think back to the 5 previous times he promised the courts that he had changed. 5 times he was given another chance. 5 times the system believed in him. Nothing changed until he murdered my son. Only then did accountability finally begin. Why did it take the loss of a child's life for Mason Ohms to act? The possibility of his release after less than 4 years for a crime that carries up to 20 years is deeply alarming. What message does that send? What does it say to other repeat DUI offenders? What does it say to families like mine who must live with the consequence forever? Utah continues to see tragedies caused by repeat DUI offenders, people allowed to keep driving until their behavior destroys lives. This cycle will not end unless there are real consequences. Public safety depends on this board recognizing that the offender's long documented history shows who he is and when he is not under strict supervision. For all of these reasons, I strongly and respectfully urge you to deny parole and enforce the full sentence well over the sentencing guidelines and up to 20 years. This is not about anger or revenge. It's about preventing another family from suffering what ours has endured. It's about preventing another family from suffering what ours has endured, It's about recognizing the pattern of dangerous choices that led to Eli's death. And it is about honoring the life of a child who will never have the chance to grow up, to dream, to live. Eli cannot be brought back, but you can protect the public and ensure that accountability finally means something.
To the Mitchell family, I know that no matter what I say or do will not bring back Eli. And I truly apologize for this. I know that my actions and decisions on the day of April 26, 2022 were not only inexcusable, outrageous, they were morally unacceptable. Though it may seem that parts might look unintentional, I never thought of or planned such a horrific path of destruction and harm. I unfortunately made an unalterable choice that has and will continue to change many lives. I may never fully understand the ripple effect of my actions that day. Be that as it may, I do understand the hurt, the pain, the heartache, and the hardships that I have put you, your family, your friends, and the community through. And I am deeply sorry for that. Being a father myself, I can understand the feelings you may have towards me for those actions and decisions I made that day of April 26, 2022, and rightfully do so. I am a human, and I made an unforgettable mistake that day. This action does not define who I am as a person, and hopefully one day you might see this and be able to forgive me. With my utmost sincerity and sympathy, I apologize with all my heart.
Decisions usually take 2 to 6 weeks and are posted publicly on the board's website. For 2 News, I'm Jamie McGriff.